What is going on, guys? It is the Anime Jaguar here, or you call me AJ for short if that is a tongue full for you. And today, it's the conclusion of the Disney Animation Era series. I'm going through the current era from The Princess and the Frog to Raya and the Last Dragon from 2009 to 2021. And it's been fun doing these rankings. I think you guys have appreciated them. This will be the last of this series until another Disney film comes out. Encanto is the next one after Raya and the Last Dragon, so whenever that comes out, I will do a ranking including Encanto. So, if you guys are wondering, what are you talking about? What are some other Disney eras you've done? What are the eras you've ranked? It'll be up here or in the link description below. And with that out of the way, with Raya and the Last Dragon included in this ranking, let's begin.
Number 11, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Disney made a solid sequel considering how rare a sequel is for Walt Disney Animation Studios. Ralph Breaks the Internet is a well-made sequel to WreckIt Ralph. The biggest problems were that the first half of the story had some problems and there were too many characters to keep track of. However, Ralph Breaks the Internet had an intense statement about relationships, a detailed description of the internet, and astonishing animation. You will have an entertaining time with this movie. I would recommend watching this with family or friends in order to fully comprehend the message. It may not be as good as the first, but it's still fun.
Coming in at number 10.
The Princess and the Frog. The Princess and the Frog is a fascinating feature that's hilarious, beautiful, and pleasant. The animation is elegant as usual. The film is unpredictable. Every time I thought they were going in one direction, the movie went a complete 360 in the other direction. This was a prototype for Frozen. There are a few flaws, but it's a satisfying adventure. They later mastered the modern era princess story with Tangled and Frozen. This was a breath of fresh air after the post-Disney renaissance. Meet the Robinsons felt like it was a Disney ripoff. The Princess and the Frog was a return to the classic Disney story. I wouldn't consider it an all-time classic Disney movie, but that just goes to show you how iconic Disney is.
Number 9.
Frozen 2. Frozen 2 falls short of its predecessor, but that doesn't mean it was terrible. This is the second highest grossing animated feature at the time I'm recording this. Frozen 2 is a nice animated film that has the heart of the first feature. While the plot is disorganized, the film is fascinating. It has great adventure, nice comedy, special characters, astonishing voice acting, glamorous animation, and unique songs. Frozen 2 focused less on the characters and more on the folklore of Arendelle. If the third act was a little better, Frozen 2 would be higher on the list. If you adore the first Frozen, you need to check it out. If you didn't like the first one, you can take a pass. We didn't need Frozen 2, but it was a decent sequel. Frozen 2 can't recapture the feel of its predecessor, but it remains a dazzling adventure into the unknown.
Number 8.
Winnie the Pooh. This is a charming and delightful film that the whole family can enjoy. This is the most charming feature from the current era. It has everything you want in a Winnie the Pooh movie. Every character gets to showcase why they have been around for decades. It's low on the list because it's the least ambitious movie from this era. The film is only 69 minutes long. The story might be predictable and there is nothing innovative, but it has fantastic hand-drawn animation, unforgettable songs, plenty of joy, and big spirit. If you are a fan of Winnie the Pooh, you will adore this film. If you are under the age of 7, you will also love it. If you don't care about Winnie the Pooh, you will find it boring and monotonous. Short, nostalgic, and gently whimsical, Winnie the Pooh offers young audiences and their parents a sweetly traditional family treat.
Number 7.
WreckIt Ralph. When people said that this was the Who Framed Roger Rabbit of video games, they weren't kidding. WreckIt Ralph has more than video game characters gamers know and love. And spoiler alert, if you cared about Sonic the Hedgehog, don't expect Sonic the Hedgehog to be one of the main characters. Almost all of the iconic video game characters only appear for a few minutes. WreckIt Ralph has a strong plot, inventive animation that combines different techniques, and unforgettable characters. The voice actors that were casted in this movie were perfect for their respective roles. John C. Reilly as the Tile character, Sarah Silverman as Vanellope, and Jane Lynch as Sergeant Tamara Jean Calhoun were the best. The movie does a great job with combining the comedy and the plot. I was so invested in the characters that I forgot they were just video game characters. I would recommend this anime feature to anyone. You will still enjoy it even if you're not a gamer.
Number 6.
Raya and the Last Dragon. I've been excited to see this feature ever since it was first announced. The only problem I had with Raya and the Last Dragon was the humor. It didn't fit with the tone of the overall film. The plot was fascinating, the characters were pleasant, and the main idea was concise and conveyed in a way that felt deserved. Kelly Marie Tran was great as the title character. What we essentially have here is a by-the-book hero's journey, but it's the interplay between the warrior and the wisecrack that makes a stock storyline snap, crackle, and pop. Raya and the Last Dragon is Disney's most gorgeously animated movie, and it's also added on to the list of great Disney films. I love the character design in this movie, and especially of Chief Benja. The action in this movie is tight, like the hand-to-hand combat and the swordplay. And what's even more impressive about this is that it was animated from home during a pandemic. I think that this movie has even more potential than the other Disney classics that I've mentioned and will be mentioned later on. This is only my first time watching it. I've only watched this one time, so who knows, I may like it even better after rewatching it again. I hope that this fantastic era of anime features doesn't end anytime soon. You should check it out if you have the chance.
Number 5.
Frozen. This feature came out at the perfect time. 2013 was a dark time for animated movies. Frozen was the lone highlight of an otherwise disappointing year for animation. This was at one time the highest grossing animated film of all time. Frozen is a real Disney masterpiece with a fantastic plot, gorgeous animation, memorable characters, and all-time classic Disney songs. Frozen in general is now a pop culture phenomenon. There are some flaws, but they more than make up for it with everything I have mentioned. The momentum of the movie is strange, however. There are 7 songs in the first 35 minutes, and 2 after that. The first act felt a little long, but it makes sense because there are 7 songs in the first 35 minutes. The second act felt like there were some things missing. It's not as good as the movies ranked ahead, but that goes to show you how great of a Disney era we are currently in. Let's just not take this for granted, guys. We are, in my opinion, the best Disney animation era of all time, which is a hot take, but I said it. And you need to watch this if you haven't already. Even if you are not an animation or a Disney fan, you will still find something to enjoy.
Number 4.
Tangled. Tangled was the first Disney film in a while that felt like a Disney Renaissance classic. The return to glory paid off. Before the release of Tangled, Disney was going more for different, exciting, and modern projects. Tangled showed that Disney is the best at adapting traditional books. Rapunzel is a princess who had lived all of her life in custody who meets a spirited criminal who has lived his life willingly. This translates to an entertaining musical adventure that has all the shenanigans, comedy, and romantic payoff that you want. The songs are not as good as most Disney Renaissance features, and Frozen has better songs as well. But it more than makes up for it. Tangled has stunning animation and tremendous characters. Tangled has a lot of the traditional Disney cliches you'd find in a story about a fairy tale princess, with just enough new elements to make it wildly entertaining. This was the movie that confirmed that Disney was in a new era that began with The Princess and the Frog. This was a great way to celebrate their 50th animated feature because this was a milestone for Disney.
Number 3.
Big Hero 6. The mixture of Disney's enchantment and the specialized action of Marvel translates into an incredible journey with a sincere plot, imaginative animation, and a cast of enjoyable characters. This is an experimental feature that was executed perfectly. It may be a superhero film, but it mainly revolves around companionship and surprising locations. I love the contemporary universe in this feature with robots and different machines. The plot goes in several different directions, but it still works. Some people didn't like the twist, but I had no issues with them. I believe that they made the film even better. The antagonist is fantastic. He is everything you want from an antagonist. The villain is wicked and creepy. By the end of the feature, it makes sense as to why the antagonist did what he did. Baymax is such a wonderful, sweet, pure, and courageous character.
The city of San Francisco, Tokyo, is the perfect environment for this film to take place in, as this combines the superhero trend from America with the Japanese anime feeling. The movie has an incredible cast, including a cameo by one of the living legends when it comes to comic books. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. You should definitely check this out. You need to see it if you are into superhero movies especially.
Number 2.
Moana. It may not be as phenomenal as my number one favorite Disney revival film, but it is still a Disney classic. Moana is an extraordinary feature that is able to take something typical like the Disney recipe and showcase it in a different light. Moana does this through a fascinating plot, elegant animation, tremendous characters, and sweet music. This was a love letter to the Pacific Islands. Moana as a character is assertive and devoted as soon as the feature starts. Ever since I heard the news about this film, I knew it would be worth checking out. I love this movie. I love the songs and the characters. It's visually beautiful and with a great direction by Ron Clements and John Musker. An excellent script by Jared Bush, a creative and exciting story by Chris Williams, Don Hall, Pamela Ribon, Aaron and Jordan Kendall, Clements and Musker, a spectacular voice cast, a memorable soundtrack from Mark Mancina, who brings unforgettable songs such as How Far I'll Go, made by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and Mancina and charismatic characters. Moana escapes the cliches of princesses and shows itself as one of the best Disney animated films and of all time, and I can't believe some people believe that both Frozen 1 and 2 are better than this. You should see this film after you're done watching this video if you haven't already. And by the way, you're welcome.
Number 1. Zootopia. When I first saw the trailer in 2015, I was skeptical. It didn't look like it would be as good as Disney's next project, Moana. The characters didn't seem intriguing, and the humor didn't seem right. Fortunately, I was way off, and it won me over with the wonderful characters in this interesting universe. The story isn't 100% original, but it absolutely works. This is a buddy cop movie with a strict cop teaming up with a rebel. If this was an action comedy, it probably wouldn't work, but it's not. Instead, it's an animated feature about animal stereotypes. It combines a buddy cop movie and a classic Disney movie. Together, it's modern and innovative.
It's pretty amazing when a film about a bunny going wishing to break the mold and join up with the police force in a world inhabited by anthropomorphic animals poses better questions about discrimination and minority than most political dramas do. Disney strikes again with a fantastic foray into deep and currently relevant subject matters, masquerading a debate for the ages within a film about cuddly animals. The voice acting is superb, particularly Bateman, who voices the morally ambiguous fox Nick Wilde. The animal puns are plenty, and the film is hilarious most of the time. And like Inside Out, Zootopia entertains while slyly planting ideas and thoughts into your head, cementing Disney as a company that has matured profoundly. The story isn't 100% original, like I've already said, and it works perfectly. And for all these reasons, this is my number one favorite Disney revival feature.
Thank you guys for watching the video. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget about the Disney Eras playlist up here in the link description below. And if you guys have any video recommendations, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of Raya and the Last Dragon. And let me know what you agree or disagree with me on. Give me your ranking of this Disney era. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.